If you ask 10 random people, which meat is better for you, red meat or white meat? I bet at least 8 of them will immediately answer, white meat is better, red meat is dangerous. And if you ask them, what about fish? Most will say in unison, fish is great, a superfood for the heart and brain. This is one of the most deeply ingrained myths in the public consciousness. It appears in school nutrition books, in TV commercials, in the advice of many health professionals. People repeat this message so often that it becomes absolute truth. But have you ever wondered, if everyone believes that red meat is bad, white meat is good, why are heart disease, obesity, diabetes, Alzheimer's still exploding all over the world, even though people eat more chicken and fish than ever? Today, I want to peel back that layer with you. We will not stop at the color of the meat, but will delve into the nutritional nature to see which is the real culprit. And when you read to the end, I believe that your view of red meat, white meat, fish will change completely. 1. How is red meat condemned? For decades, epidemiological studies, the type of observational studies that ask about eating habits and compare them with disease rates, have concluded that eating a lot of red meat increases the risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and stroke. And so, the media headlines, red meat increases the risk of colon cancer. Eating a lot of beef and pork can kill you sooner. Replace red meat with chicken and fish to live longer. Sounds reasonable, right? But there is a problem. Those studies are only observational, not proving cause and effect. For example, people who eat a lot of red meat also tend to smoke more, drink more alcohol, exercise less, and eat less vegetables. So does the disease come from the meat, or from the whole lifestyle? When we look more closely, we see that the individual piece of red meat is not as guilty as accused. 2. Cholesterol, devil or misunderstood hero. One of the reasons red meat is condemned is because it contains a lot of cholesterol and saturated fat. It is believed that eating a lot of cholesterol causes fat to stick to the walls of blood vessels, causing atherosclerosis and heart attacks. But science over the past 20 years has continuously proven cholesterol in food hardly increases cholesterol in the blood. Your liver will regulate itself. Eat less. The liver will produce more. Eat more. The liver will reduce production. Saturated fat is not the enemy. Some types also help increase HDL good cholesterol, stabilize cell membranes, and balance hormones. In fact, cholesterol is the raw material for producing sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, vitamin D, bile to digest fat, and is a mandatory component of the brain. In other words, without cholesterol, you will die. Yet for years, people have been scaring us that eating a piece of beef means you are digging your own heart's grave. 3. Fats. Not all are the same. When it comes to fat and meat, people often throw everything into one basket. Saturated equals bad, unsaturated equals good. But the truth is much more subtle. In meat, there are 3 main groups of fats. Saturated fat, stable, difficult to oxidize, gives less free radical creation. Some types such as stearic acid found in beef do not increase bad cholesterol LDL. Monounsaturated fat, famous for olive oil, but in fact red meat also contains a lot of oleic acid similar to olive oil. Effect: anti-inflammatory, good for the heart. Polyunsaturated fat PUFA includes omega-3 and omega-6. This is the key. The ratio of omega-6 and omega-3 in meat determines whether the meat is medicine or poison. 4. Omega-3 versus omega-6, the silent battle in the body. Our body needs both omega-3 and omega-6, but the problem lies in the ratio. Human ancestors had an omega-6, omega to 3 ratio of approximately equals 1 to 1. Modern diet, 15 to 20 to 1, even 30 to 1. When omega-6 is too much compared to omega-3, the body falls into a state of chronic inflammation, the root of a series of diseases: cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, Alzheimer's, cancer. So, where do omega-3 and omega-6 come from? Omega-3, mainly from marine fish, grass-fed meat, free-range eggs. Omega-6, mainly from vegetable oils, soybeans, corn, sunflower, and meat from industrially raised animals fed grains. Here is the secret that few people tell you. It is not red or white meat that determines whether it is good or bad, but what the animal eats. 5. Specific comparison. Red meat versus white meat versus fish. 5.1. Grass-fed beef. Omega-6. Omega to 3 ratio approximately equals to 2:4. 1. Very balanced. Rich in CLA anti-cancer, fat-reducing fat, rich in heme iron, zinc, vitamin B12. 5.2. CAFO beef. Feeding grains gives omega to 6 skyrockets, ratio 10 to 20. 1. Seriously unbalanced. Still contains protein and minerals, but anti-inflammatory benefits are lost. 5.3. Pork. If pigs are free-range, eat a variety of foods gives the quality is quite good, but industrial pigs eat corn flour. Soybeans gives extremely high omega-6, unbalanced fat. 5.4. Chicken, free-range chicken, omega-6, omega to 3 approximately equals 5 to 8. 1. Industrial chicken, 15 to 20. 1. Even more, white, low-fat meat looks healthy, but is actually rich in inflammatory omega-6. 5.5. Fish, wild fish, omega-3 abundant, extremely good. Farmed fish, fed grains, omega-3 is greatly reduced, omega-6 is increased. Farm salmon is dyed to make the meat pink gives not much different from industrial chicken. 6. Ironic reality. Do you see the paradox? People advise you to avoid red meat and switch to chicken and fish. But industrial chicken and farm fish, which make up the majority of the market, contain more omega-6 than grass-fed beef. That means, when you try to eat healthy as advised, you may be adding inflammatory fat to your body. Red meat is not the enemy. The enemy is industrial meat with an imbalance of fat. 7. So, who is the main culprit? Not the red color of beef or pork, not cholesterol, not saturated fat. The real culprits are too much omega-6 in industrial meat, the habit of eating seed oils, fried foods with meat, lifestyle factors, lack of exercise, stress, lack of sleep. The hard truth about the meat industry. 1. When animals are turned into production machines. If in part 1 I told you that the nature of good or bad meat is not in the color, but in the ratio of fat, especially omega-6 and omega-3, then in this part, you will see why industrial farming has ruined everything. In the past, cows ate grass, pigs were free to roam in the garden, chickens pecked at rice and dug for worms, fish swam in the wild. At that time, their meat was a source of balanced, clean nutrition, and close to human biological needs. But over the past few decades, the food industry has turned them into the fastest, cheapest, heaviest meat production machines possible. This model is called CAFO, concentrated animal feeding operations, in which thousands, even tens of thousands of animals are cramped in small spaces. They no longer see sunlight, do not have natural exercise. They are fattened with industrial grains, soybean meal, corn meal instead of natural food. They must be continuously injected with antibiotics to survive in a contaminated environment. In many cases, they are also injected with growth hormones to grow quickly. And do you know what the consequences are? The meat from these animals is no longer the same as the meat our ancestors ate. It has been transformed in nutritional nature, from a healthy protein source to a package of inflammatory fat. 2. Cows, a grassland friend turned into an omega-6 bomb. 2.1. Natural grass-fed cows, grazed in the fields, eating grass, leaves, herbs. Meat contains a lot of omega-3, little omega-6. Omega-6, omega to 3 ratio approximately equals to 2:4. 1 gives close to the ideal ratio. rich in CLA conjugated linoleic acid, a special fat that helps reduce the risk of cancer, improve metabolism, and reduce fat. Rich in flavor, rich in nutrients. To point to, industrial beef, CAFO beef, eating grains, soybean meal, industrial byproducts, the rumen microflora changes, creating many toxins, forcing frequent use of antibiotics. Omega-6, omega-3 ratio equals 10 to 20. 1 gives causing chronic inflammation. Protein is still present, but anti-inflammatory benefits are eliminated. Grass-fed beef is healthy, while industrial beef is far different, even dangerous. 3. Pork, white meat in advertising, but not safe at all. Have you ever heard the slogan, "Pork, the other white meat"? This is a media campaign of the U.S. pork industry, aiming to turn pigs into competitors with chickens, labeled as white meat, healthy. But the truth is far from it. 3.1. Free-range pigs eat vegetables, whole grains, insects, roots, firm meat, clear flavor, more balanced fat, omega-6, omega-3. 10. 1 a bit high, but still acceptable. 3.2. Industrial pigs, cramped, fed corn flour, genetically modified soybeans. Meat contains extremely high omega-6 2230. 1. Pork fat becomes a warehouse of inflammation. Not to mention growth hormones, residual antibiotics. Industrial pork is one of the largest sources of omega-6 in the modern diet. If you eat a lot of industrial pork, the risk of chronic inflammation will increase significantly. 4. Chicken, false hero. This is the biggest shock. In the eyes of many people, chicken is the safest choice. Low fat, low calories, white meat, good for the heart. But that is just an illusion created by the media and the fast food industry. 4.1. Free-range chicken can walk, peck rice, eat insects, firm meat, rich flavor, rich in nutrients, omega-6, omega-3 approximately equals 5 to 8. 1 gives quite balanced. 4.2. Industrial chicken, locked in a closed farm, never seeing sunlight, feeded with industrial grains to gain weight quickly, omega-6, omega-3 ratio approximately equals 15 to 20. The meat is soft, bland, watery, and poorly nourished. What's more worrying? Industrial chicken accounts for greater than 95% of chicken meat on the market, and this is the main ingredient in fast food fried chicken, chicken nuggets, industrial roast chicken. In fact, industrial chicken is one of the most dangerous meats, even worse than industrial beef. 5. Fish, angel with black wings. Everyone praises fish, especially salmon, but take a closer look. 5.1. Wild fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring, extremely high in omega-3, superior to all meats, good for the brain, heart, anti-inflammatory. But the marine environment is increasingly polluted, contains mercury, dioxin, microplastic. 5.2. Farmed fish, fed with grain flour, vegetable oil instead of natural food. Omega-3 is greatly reduced, omega-6 is increased. The ratio can be close to 1 to 1, but not as high in omega-3 as wild fish. Farmed salmon meat is pale in color, forced to be artificially dyed to look pink-orange. Regular use of antibiotics to fight disease. Farmed fish, especially farmed salmon, is no longer the superfood that many people mistakenly believe. 6. Processed meat, enemy number 1. If I had to choose the most dangerous meat, I would not choose industrial chicken, nor industrial pork. I would choose industrially processed meat. Why? Because when you enter the world of sausages, nuggets, spam, industrial ham, you are no longer eating meat. You are eating a mixture of chemicals that tastes like meat. Sausages contain poor quality meat plus flour, plus nitrate preservatives, which can turn into carcinogenic nitrosamines. Chicken nuggets, usually only 40–50% meat, the rest is flour, omega-6 rich frying oil, binders, Spam, industrial ham, contains salt, sugar, preservatives, industrial seed oils, fish balls, beef balls, cheap sausages. The list of additives is longer than the nutrition facts panel. In other words, you are eating industrial products, not meat. 7. Rankings. From best to worst. After all, I would rank as follows. Grass-fed beef gives best. Rich in omega-3 South. CLA. Clean. Wild fish, wild salmon, sardine, mackerel gives rich source of omega-3 South. But be careful of mercury. Pastured chicken gives pretty good, but still a bit high in omega-6. Pastured pork gives acceptable, but need a reliable source. Farm salmon. Basa gives worse than wild fish. Lots of chemicals. CAFO beef gives high in omega-6. Residual antibiotics. CAFO pork gives extremely high in omega-6. Low quality. CAFO chicken gives hidden enemy. Highest in omega-6. Most common. Processed meat sausages, nuggets, spam. Industrial ham gives worst. Full of chemicals. No longer meat. 8. Final warning. You see, the story is not simple. The color of meat does not determine health. What determines is how the animal is raised, fed, and processed. Natural red meat grass-fed beef has been wrongly condemned. Industrial white meat chicken, pig is the omega-6 bomb that causes inflammation. Farmed fish is no longer a savior, but sometimes it is also an industrial product. And above all, industrially processed meat is the thing to stay away from the most. My advice: eat less but better. Choose meat with a clear origin, raised naturally. Stay away from processed meat. Don't let advertising or color fool you. Meat is not guilty. It is the way people raise and process meat that turns it into a silent killer.